Kiss Los Angeles, California, goodbye. Hey everybody, Scott Walters, buckle up, strap in. We got a hard-hitting pull, no punches, no sugarcoating it, no rainbows or sunshine. I'm just going to give it to you and give it to you straight. We got a good one to unpackage today. Welcome to the show. I hope everybody's doing great. Let's jump back on the real estate merry-go-round and examine the good, the bad, and maybe a little bit of the ugly.
No, Scott, not the ugly. Only examine rainbows and sunshine.
No. Somebody's got to read between the lines and look between the economic cracks. We've got some cracks to look through, don't we? This has been quite the journey, hasn't it? You know, the long and short of it is, friends, we created another real estate bubble, and not 99% of the time, 100% of the time, anytime the housing market exhibits bubble behavior, they've crashed. This was the biggest bubble ever recorded in world history. So anybody saying no crash risk here, run. Don't walk, run as fast as you can. The reality is this: as a real estate agent myself, I've attended many sales meetings. I've been in and around real estate my whole entire life, and from managing to leasing to selling to buying, you name it, investing. I hold real estate. I've bought bad real estate. I've bought good real estate. I mean, it's just the name of the game. Real estate's the path to wealth. That's why I'm here trying to help people as much as I can. I'm always willing to put other people's needs before my own, and that's what you want out of your agent. An agent that's willing to put your needs before their own. And most of these agents, like I said, if they're telling you no crash risk here, run. Don't walk, run as fast as you can. If you're just looking at what's going on in your local neighborhood, you are out of touch with reality. Real estate's local. All areas behave differently. Some areas will be the last to get hit. Some areas might be the first to rebound, but everybody gets touched in a deep cycle recession. And we're headed for one of those clearly again. Why, you ask? Well, of course, I'm going to tell you, because we've always had recessions like clockwork throughout recorded history. So when you manipulate the housing market the way we did with no organic growth, pure and unadulterated market manipulation due to a low interest rate environment and a lack of inventory, courtesy of a crisis, that's just nitroglycerin in the engine of the economy, and it couldn't tolerate that. And now we're at the breaking point. We're doing everything we can to try to put a Band-Aid on the shotgun blast, and right now, you know, it's in the form of interest rate cuts are the big push. But that's not going to save this thing. Unfortunately, the housing market's the biggest asset class on planet Earth. It's too big to save, friends. Once it goes, it's going to go. Now, my job and your agent, hopefully, and if you need an agent, you reach out to me. I'm happy to help you. You know, what we always want to look at is what's our cost to carry this property, and is our payment within its rent range with the standard amount down at today's interest rate. That's it. If we can buy a property and it's cheaper to own than to rent, that's a good buy. But unfortunately, that's not a whole lot of properties out there right now. And that's why for me, I always say, hey, don't fall in love with the property, because as soon as you fall in love with the property, they got us. So we want to go kick the tires and shake the trees, possibly offend a few sellers. And I know a lot of agents are like, oh,
I can't write up that offer. I got to work with this agent again in the future, and I can't offend them.
Ready to offend some other agents. You got to put your clients' needs before your own. I'm not out to offend agents, but I'm certainly going to communicate them why the strategy I'm using is what it is, and say, hey, listen, I understand it's not the offer you want to see, but it's an offer you want to present it to your owner. And I've had many people circle back with me like, hey, my owner is now ready to accept your offer. See, and that's when I tell them, sorry, we've already moved on to a different property, or our price is going to change. So it's just a really crazy game in real estate. I love it. I couldn't imagine doing anything else. Like I said, I own real estate. I've taken a hit in the last real estate downturn. I've weathered the storm with other real estate during that. It's the path to wealth. And like I said, as an agent myself, I don't rely purely on commissions to pay my bills, which allows me to come here and give these real talks. And that's what I'll continue to do the best of my ability. So thanks to everybody who's stuck with me. It's been quite the journey. As many of you know, I went through a pretty big, I got really just a flu that wouldn't go away. It lasted off and on for like 2 years. So thanks to everybody for your prayers and thoughts and sticking with me. It's been an honor to serve you guys. So thank you. Now, today we're going to run over to Pacific Palisades in Los Angeles. And for somebody that sold mansions to mobile homes and everything in between, one of the things that really is tricky is the luxury market. Why, you ask? Well, of course, I'm going to tell you. It's pretty easy to explain. Your buyer pool is much smaller, of course, when you get into the luxury market. And most people didn't get rich by wasting money. They're smart. And unfortunately, a lot of people drank the economic Kool-Aid in this real estate bubble trying to obtain those low interest rates. Unfortunately, right now, for those low interest rates, like I've warned about since the beginning of turning on this camera during the bubble era when it was all just euphoric, I don't care if you have a 0% interest rate. If you can't keep up with your cost of living, you're losing your house. And that's just the grim reality of it. And that's what we're seeing right now. I mean, the cost of living inflation now is just off the charts. I mean, people's say the savings rates, the U.S. savings rate now at an all-time low and U.S. debt at an all-time high. I mean, these two metrics, people are broke out there. It's not looking good. So I feel sorry for a lot of people right now because we're just getting started and it's going to be really hard. We're going to need government intervention, and I would, if I was a betting man, I'd say we're gonna get some government intervention, but unfortunately the housing market's going to be really too big to save. If it gets saved, it's going to be a wacky, you'll own nothing but be happy the government's going to just buy your house and rent it back to you, basically, which is something I wouldn't rule out. But we'll navigate those waters as we get closer to it. Right now might be the last time that you can actually buy and own real estate, and so we want to go gather up as much as we can with real estate that pencils out, as long as it pencils out. Today, we're going to look at a property and see if it pencils out. My guess is it will not pencil out. In fact, that's why we're looking at this property, because what's going to happen is the luxury market's going to get decimated. People are not speculating on real estate anymore, and especially with luxury real estate. Yeah, we see a lot of investors buying up neighborhoods because they want to re-rent these to just middle-class families. But when you get into the luxury market, it is a whole different animal. Los Angeles is in massive trouble. It's turned into downtown Beirut. It used to be a fun place to go visit. I used to go there as a young man myself. I remember when I was a singer in a band playing at the Whiskey A Go-Go, very iconic place. All my friends went down there to try to make it in the music industry, and I lived close enough I didn't have to move down there, but I drove down there quite a bit. And now when I go, me and the kids will go down to Hollywood Boulevard, Walk of Fame, Griffith Park, the observatory, eat. It's just not the same place it used to be. Tinseltown now is downtown Beirut. Like I said, it's just tent city, trash, crime. It's ugly. It's really ugly, and people are no longer willing to live there, much less buy expensive real estate. And what happened down there is, of course, we had a fire rip through and just damage some of these high dollar neighborhoods, and people aren't rebuilding, and people are now trying to sell off their properties and get out. And this is the luxury market. This was disaster, not only for the local real estate market, but also for the local economy. When you start losing people that are in the high tax bracket, that's less tax revenue that the state's bringing in, or the city or the county. It's just not a good look. So let's go ahead and drive our point home, jump over, take a look at a current listing in Los Angeles, California. Then we're going to meet back here and wrap it up. Let's get started. Hey friends, buckle up, strap in, roll up your windows, lock your doors. We're heading into Pacific Palisades. Unfortunately, they experienced a horrible, horrible natural disaster. Actually, it was a natural disaster, but apparently set by human hands. And that's really adding insult to injury here, I'm sure, if you own property. Unfortunately, if you own a property anywhere near this, you're not exactly benefiting with your property values, and that is no fun when you're trying to sell property. This is definitely an eyesore. And as we can see here, an old newspaper prior to the fire even warned about it being a hot spot for a potential fire in the area. Now let's bring up our crash map, courtesy of our good fuzzy friends over at Zillow. Everything on your screen is in fact going through the kiss of death price reductions. Now let's tour today's featured property, and here you go. And here you go, a beautiful luxury home nestled in the foothills of the Pacific Palisades. Unfortunately, they are right next to a burn area. I remember talking to a homeowner, and they were saying they wish their house had just burned down too. At least then they could have collected the insurance money. Now this house is sitting potentially in an area where not a whole lot of people are flocking to because of the look of the neighborhood. But on top of that, real estate is now done an about face, and especially in the luxury market, a 5-10% reduction in value can result in millions and millions of dollars in these luxury homes, and that is making it really, really tough to get sold. In fact, let's go ahead and dig in to some of its numbers. Today's property just suffered a recent $1.4 million price cut and sits stuck on the market at $10.5 million, still unsold, and we're just getting started. Properties actually got an estimated mid-range value of $11.5 million. Unfortunately, that price wasn't working, and even after dropping it $1 million, still no takers as of now. If we were to give them their stuck on the market price of $10.5 million with a standard amount down at today's interest rate, our approximate cost to carry would be over $65,000 per month. These homes used to rent for about $65,000 per month. Unfortunately, nobody's racing over to rent luxury property in this environment. That's not good. Let's keep looking. All right, here we go, the nitty-gritty, the tail in the tape. As we can see here, we're stuck on the market at $10.5 million. We started our journey at $12.5 million, already $2 million underwater on this property. But wait, it gets better or worse depending on how you look at it. Our current owner purchased this for $11.5 million. They're already $1 million in the hole, bringing $1 million to the closing table if they could even get their current stuck on the market price, which I doubt. This property has a lot of hurdles in front of it, expensive hurdles for sure. Let's jump back to the studio and wrap this one up. All right, friends, welcome back, and there you go. So this is what's going on now in Los Angeles. Now, we picked the Pacific Palisades, which we saw is in bad shape, and I've driven through there. It looks like a war zone. I've never seen anything like it. Typically, neighborhoods, I remember when I was a kid, and our house burned down in a 350 home fire. That 350 homes were lost. Within a year, they were pretty much all rebuilt. I would say 90% of the homes were back. Now we're seeing only about 10% of the homes. About 90% of these homes, they're just trying to sell them off as lots. If you own a property next to a burn zone, that is a bad look. That is a really bad look. The property we looked at today, they're losing money. They're already upside down by $1 million and unsold. Let me repeat. They're upside down by $1 million and unsold. I don't know if they own this all cash or if they have a mortgage. My guess at some point it's going to be walk away time from the home and that property going back to the bank. The banks now are about to start offering cash for keys, a lot of things to get people out of these properties and get them back quick. Why, you ask? Of course, I'm going to tell you, because property values aren't projected to go back up again, even if we did rate cuts, especially in the luxury market. And final thoughts that come to you as a friend, as a content creator, as a real estate guy that wants to see you not only win in real estate, win in life. Understand the waters you're swimming in now, they're shark infested. Los Angeles, welcome to the swimming pool. We took a look at a property today that's in huge trouble. Upside down, stuck on the market, chasing the market. If an agent like me comes along and sees you doing that, the last thing we're going to do is give you your stuck on the market price. I'm going to come in there and potentially lowball you. You're not going to like it. You're probably going to refuse it, and you're going to circle back with me later asking if I'm still interested. And I'm going to say, maybe, but not at my last price. We've come down further. If you're on the market right now, the only advice I can give you is find out who your competition is and beat them. That is the only chance you have to get sold. Otherwise, I'm going to be here to blow the lid off it every step of the way, because it's not only what we need, it's in fact what we deserve. If you appreciate the content, I want to humbly ask you to give the video a like, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. Social media link in the description of this video if you'd like to contact me there. Simply reach out to Scott Walters Real Estate on Instagram. If you enjoyed this video, you're going to love the next video, and there's an easy subscribe icon for your convenience. If you're interested in buying or selling real estate here in America, I have the biggest network of top-rated agents in the nation ready to assist you. It would be our honor and our privilege to do so. Email in the description for you as well. As always, thank you for your time. Please go make it count today. God bless, and I'll see you on the next video.